What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode in the Out of the Park Baseball 25 Montreal Expos expansion series. So, we're at the All-Star break. We're going to go over how the team's been performing, and we're actually going to advance to the rookie draft for this season. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. First thing I want to take a look at with you guys is Colin McKay. 24 years old, not worth our time, especially as an extreme fly ball pitcher. We'll come on over here. All-Star Game rosters. Chase Dolander, you can see, makes the All-Star team. Caleb Ferguson makes the All-Star team. We've got Ellie De La Cruz on the All-Star team. Charlie Condon made it, and that actually looks like it is it for our guys. You guys can see the other players on here: Colson Montgomery, Kobe Mayo, Marcelo Mayer, Nolan Jones, Riley Green. So Riley Green, we ended up not trading for Riley Green, as you guys could tell from the last couple episodes. Riley Green got traded to Boston. Riley Green is proceeding to have a 6-WAR season at the All-Star break. On pace for over 11 WAR. Riley Green is proceeding to have an all-time season. We didn't trade for him. He went to Boston, and Boston is flourishing. Here is what the NL squad looks like. You can see Tristan Beck up there, Tink Hence, Alvarez, Henry Davis. Brett Beatty's having a great year. Michael Harris is actually hurt. Oh, but he's day-to-day. He's fine. And Shohei, who's actually struggling, but got in. Got in because he's having a great pitching year still. All-Star Game prospect rosters. I'll go through these quick. You guys can pause and look at them if you want. Nothing too crazy there. And then I just left it here. Brett Beatty won the home run derby, so good for Brett Beatty. As a team, we're 55 and 34. We are, at the moment, looks like 12.5 games up over second place. Looks like Baltimore and New York and Boston are having good years. We're having a good year. Seattle and Colorado. The AL South's kind of struggling a little bit. You can see the NL South, actually, everyone is above 500. NL West is doing pretty poor. NL North is solid. NL East, so AL's actually got the heavy hitters, while the NL is just very flat. We'll come on over here. We'll take a look at our team. So, team home screen here. You can see Blaze is playing well. Harry Ford's playing well. Braden actually has 24 home runs. Ellie's got 20. Ellie was hurt for a little bit this year, so Ellie has actually sprained fingers, sprained ankle. That took him out for 5 weeks. So he's been battling. Christopher Morel's actually been a really good pickup. He's hurt at the moment, but he's been hitting some home runs for us, and that's awesome. Braden, Blaze, Ellie, Evan Carter, Harry Ford, Ferguson, Leiter, Dolander, Thorpe, Leiter, Dolander, Gore, Leiter, all with 115 Ks. One big thing here that you guys can see right here, Charlie Condon's hitting 400. At the All-Star break, hitting 400. That's pretty awesome. So over here, we got Dolander pitching very well, Gore pitching very well, Jack Leiter actually having a career year. Meanwhile, Rocker and Thorpe Thorpe's actually pitching incredible. Thorpe's 11 and 4, 110 Ks with a 2.1 WAR. Rocker's the one struggling. We got Caleb Ferguson having a great year as the stopper. We actually went back to Puck as the closer away from Luis Gill, just because Luis Gill started really, really slow. He has picked it up since then, but Puck's got that closing role. Puck is pitching well with 19 saves. We are going to roll with him. No, Gill got off to a rough start. He had like a above 5 ERA through the first month, so at that point we just kind of pulled him. Hunter Green's back. He's a reliever. The bad news is Hunter Green is definitely cratering after the injuries. The movement's down. The control was never really up, but his stuff is down to a 70 as a starter, so I think run him as a reliever this year, and we will decline the team option for next year. Lodolo's pitching pretty well. Emmett Sheehan's pitching pretty well. Reese Olson's pitching pretty well. Overall, really proud of the staff. Here at the plate, we've got Harry Ford playing great. Kyle Teal's having a solid year. Nothing special or anything. Chris Bryant still factoring in against lefties for us. Chris Bryant is struggling as expected, but, we got to do what we got to do. Condon having a monster year. Kyle Lewis, terrible. He's always been terrible. He's hardly even played this year, but he is a leader. He's a captain personality. He is the heart and soul of this team. Corey Seager's pretty terrible, unfortunately. Sad to see Corey Seager crater as quickly as he has. Just a couple years ago, he was still a top player. Blaze is playing well. Ellie's having a monster year. He would be up there with Riley Green if not for the 5 weeks he missed with the sprained ankle. Jeremy Rodriguez, the 21-year-old, just turned 22, has been a monster acquisition for us, a monster call-up. He's able to play every infield spot at a high level. He's hitting the ball good enough to be worth it, and as a platoon guy, especially filling in for an injured Ellie, he's been great. Evan Carter's having a pretty decent year. Carter definitely hasn't lived up to the billing. I was hoping for a real star player when we added him. He's been good. Simple as that. Max Clark is having a pretty decent year. Want him to start hitting the ball a little bit more, but playing good defense. Got the home runs, and I think he's had an uptick the last few weeks. Brenton Doyle is doing Brenton Doyle stuff. Great defense, not being absolutely terrible at the plate. And Braden Montgomery's having a really good sophomore year. He's actually on pace to clear his home run total from last year. He's playing better defense, and I think he's really going to be a potential future all-star and a dude that can hold down right field for us for a few more years. So that is where we stand. Player development-wise, we've got Ethan Holiday developing finally. Looking like he could be an MLB contributor either this year or next year, so that is awesome for us. Alexis Hernandez, the IAFA guy, nothing real crazy there. His contact is going up, though, so that could be a good sign. Jamie Ehrman still looks pretty normal. Randy Parson looks pretty normal. BJ Harrington and David Compost, nothing special there. Mike Drake, nothing special. Sato, nothing going on. Kyle Johnson looking pretty decent, could be coming up for us. But yeah, really excited about Ethan Holiday because it's another dude that's panning out for us, so that's awesome. Nothing going on in the development lab, of course. So without further ado, what I'm actually going to do, we are going to jump into the All-Star game. Now, or we're not. Didn't let me play. Scratch that, everyone. Ellie De La Cruz does take home the All-Star MVP, though, so good for Ellie. I was actually hoping to go play-by-play with the All-Star game, but that's okay. We don't have to do that. Ellie leads the team to victory. Nothing crazy here. Oil Can Boyd. What an incredible name. I've had him in an online league that was historical. Just what a crazy name. How do you even get the nickname Oil Can? So we're going to come over here to the first-year player draft. Xander Bogaerts signs a minor league deal with us. That's awesome. I saw him in free agency, and I felt really bad. So glad to see that he signs with us. And then let's jump into the draft here, folks. We are picking 34th. We are going to start this draft. Make sure that we are looking at all players here. We're just going to check out the top 10 picks. So LA goes with catcher Chris Binder. That is a terrible first overall pick. I am just going to say it right now. That is a terrible first overall pick. Unless he's a pitcher too, but I don't think he's going to be pitching catcher. That's a terrible pick. Wow, LA really struggled there. We got Jamie Bellman. Jamie Bellman is infinitely better than that catcher. But he's really a first baseman, and he's a terrible personality first baseman. So you know what? Those are two poor picks. I'll be right up and say those are two terrible picks. Jake Ape Lawson. This must be either a terrible draft or the AI is struggling here. Noel Noren. Here's a great pick. This is a top-tier pick, potential MVP caliber guy that can play shortstop, second, and third all at a high level. Does he have any outfield ability? Not really. Sam Callaway, great pitcher. I would worry with his control, but I mean that's a really high potential pick. So you know what? Callaway's infinitely better than those first couple batters. Those first couple batters are terrible guys. Bobby Stauffer, love the Bobby Stauffer pick. He would actually be, out of all the guys drafted, he's up there with Noel as my top dog. Jeremy Downer. Okay. I don't love it, but I absolutely understand it. This is a pitcher that's probably going to be up in the majors for next year as a 22-year-old, so I absolutely get it. Vince Bland. Vince Bland's got the power, got the defense, a little bit of a Joey Gallo type build where he's going to get on base, he's going to hit for power, but he's not going to hit for contact. Last one. Second to last one. Shinhei Kesinich. This top dog right here. This is a 21-year-old college pitcher out of Mississippi State who is nearly MLB ready. He's got the control, he's got the stuff, he's got the movement, and he's going to be up in the majors for next year. That's a fantastic pick at number 9. The number 10 from Miami's Ripley Hall. Decent pick, nothing special there. Let's head on to Montreal. It is our turn to pick. We're going to ask who the scouting director thinks we should take. He's saying Greg Daniels. Greg Daniels is another Joey Gallo-esque outfielder. Great power, good eye, good defense. I really like the pick. We're going to take Daniels into consideration. Not going to waste it on an impossible, poor personality high schooler. That's just asking for something not to work out. David Almond-Gore. That's a good pitcher, but stamina worries me. Josh Davis is a pretty good pick. We're going to trust the scouting director here. We will go with Greg Daniels, and we will meet his demand. I think he wants below slot, so that's always a bonus. Second round pick is up. Let's take a look here, just a couple of different guys. I'm really bummed that the game doesn't seem to create overly fantastic college kids, because, I mean, we saw it with this year's past draft. College kids are all the rage right now. So that's one thing I do wish it would create. I could try to work some sort of developmental league type thing, some sort of spring league, but I don't think it's worth it at this point in the save. We're 4 years in. I don't want to be changing too many things up to kind of set the baseline for what we're working with. Anthony Bryant is actually crazy. 6'8", throws hard, great stuff. We're going to consider him, but not with this pick here. We're going to go Josh Davis. Yeah, we're going to go Josh Davis. I was almost considering myself to go Donnie Black. We're going to go Josh Davis. Meet his demand. We're up again in the second round. This is what we got for the loss of Dylan Cease. Donnie Black, easy pick, meet demand. We're up in the third round. A lot of these guys still available. Not going to go with this guy. That is great personality, but just too much of a boom bust type potential. Jim Blind. We're going to go Jim Blind. He's got the goods already. Gives us a good pitching prospect. We're going to meet his demand. We're up once again. We got Frank Ramirez, who's an option. Andy Warren here. Andy Warren's looking pretty good. The defense worries me, though. He really can't play defense. Clint Battolino, a college kid. College shortstop Billy Carlson also doubles as a pitcher. No, I really hate taking so many high schoolers. We're going to go Nelson Contreras. That's the pitcher that's pretty close to MLB ready. That will help us in the long run. Eric DeBerry. We're going to go Eric DeBerry. That's great stuff. If that control can pan out a little bit, he will be a usable reliever. Mike Coker. Mike Coker is a pretty solid potential guy. Jabari Faria. We're going to go Jabari Faria. That's all I need to say. Jonathan Latham, congrats. As you guys can see, my draft process is not overly scientific. I'm looking for guys that look good to me. I'm looking for guys that interest me. I'm not going to go break down 100 different players, especially as we get later into the draft. I really find that outside of like the first 5 rounds or so, you're really just preying on some sort of talent change. You're praying for a little bit of that RNG factor to help the guy boost up. As long as they don't have a terrible personality, they are a dude that I would be interested in. I'm not gonna nitpick these late guys. Look for someone who I could see, if they reach their full potential that I'm being shown, could be usable at the MLB level. That's really how I feel about it. You can nitpick all you want for these late round picks. 90% of them aren't going to reach the MLB for you. 90% are going to flame out or be part of some sort of a trade. So you just want to try to find guys that you could at least see a path to the majors for. You don't need to be someone who, like, wow, this guy's going to be my next starting first baseman. No. If he pans out, that's awesome. If he pans out, he is going to be a dude that I could see contributing. Contributing meaning, pinch hitter, platoon. Maybe he's that 4A guy that I call up due to injury. But no need to look for home runs with every pick. Just try to pick dudes you enjoy, pick dudes from schools you like, pick dudes that you're like, wow, that looks like a potential contributor. That's all you need. We're firing through this one. We are going to go with Argaw Jaja here. It's entirely because that was a fun name. That's really the science behind that pick there. Sort by some overall here. We're going to go Brad Anderson, solid reliever. Cesar Devarez Jr. looks pretty terrible. We're not going to take him. Luis Salcedo. He's a DH. We don't really like to draft DHs. Glenn McClear. Congrats. We got Kevin Alexander here. Kevin Alexander looks good. Can play infield and outfield. Mike McKelney. Congrats. You got some pretty good eye. And then here, let's have some fun with this one. Not Ernie. Esteban Bohannon. So there we go, folks. That is the first year rookie draft. We're going to come on over. We're going to negotiate, but I'm pretty sure we don't have to negotiate with hardly anyone. Yep, 4 dudes here. We are just going to meet these guys' demands, or at least these two. We're not going to sign the impossibles. An 11th and a 18th round impossible are not overly worth it. But that is our first year draft, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys for the roster expansion check-in.